You might remember when we reported this back in October, we said that Arch was looking into this. Well, that program has now determined that John and Nona Altman were not in compliance with Arch rules, and Arch is, quote, working with the city of Bellevue to pursue available remedies. So I asked Governor Inslee about this development involving his senior education advisor at a press conference this afternoon. I'm reporting tonight on your senior education policy advisor, Mr. Altman, who owns an affordable housing condo in Bellevue. Arch Affordable Housing has determined that he did not live in that unit. He owned it but did not live there, and that's a violation of their policy. What is your reaction to that?
Well, my reaction today is we're working on mental health, and I'm trying to help restore the mental health of thousands of Washingtonians, and all I can say is I hope there's some resolution of this. If there's a resolution and there's learning experience from this experience, great. Next question.
That answer suggests Governor Inslee's education advisor, John Altman, and his wife, the deputy chief clerk of the House of Representatives, did not know they were breaking rules that seem pretty clear. They purchased a condo in this Bellevue complex that was designated for low to moderate income buyers through the Arch Affordable Housing Program. It requires that buyers live in the unit, but the Altmans also own this house in Olympia, 20 minutes from the Capitol where they both work. Arch, which runs taxpayer-funded affordable housing programs on behalf of 15 East Side cities, says the Altmans violated that residence rule, along with two other absentee Arch unit owners we found in the same complex. The city of Bellevue, where the condo is located, is investigating, according to Councilmember Jared Neuenhaus.
The fact is that we are looking at remedies right now, and remedies to the fullest extent of the law for those owners that have fraudulently been occupying those units.
In emails, the Altmans in the governor's office have denied that they did anything wrong. Arch staff is proposing some big changes, however, including an audit of the 700 homes that it monitors and maybe even of the thousands of rental units it administers. It also wants to make changes that give low-income buyers more time to purchase an Arch property. Right now, under its rules, if a home doesn't sell in 60 days, the Arch home opens to buyers of all income levels, and that's how the Altmans got their condo 10 years ago. Arch is now talking about extending that low-income window from 60 days to 1 year so that a lower-income family would get a bigger crack at buying it.
Sure, more time.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chris, your investigation focused on one building that had 9 units.
Yeah.
3 of those units had issues. What about the other Arch buildings and properties?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think that's exactly why Arch is talking about auditing all of the properties that it oversees. It'll start with what it calls a light touch audit of all homes and then drill down on owners they suspect may be in violation. Arch is talking about hiring a consultant to make sure that it's in line with the best practices of the affordable housing industry, and the executive board has to vote on this to approve it, but I think there's pretty much support of that.
Okay, Chris, thanks for that.